So I wanted to remake this video much quicker and faster to the point. This is the top 10 things or top 10 LSAT advice. Number 10. Number 10 is simple. Where you take the exam matters. You want to be careful when you're picking your exam location, because this is a really make or break deal. Um, Going from my personal experience, I took the exam in Central America. Um, it was a nightmare. I had a proctor answer her phone during the exam. I had someone else's phone go off, and yeah, I can write a letter to the law school admissions council explaining the situation, saying, hey, my concentration is broken multiple times through no fault of my own, but you know, I'd rather not experience that. So to avoid experiencing, the bull crap when you're taking a really important exam like this, you'd be best suited to just make sure that you pick the best location to take your exam. So when you're looking for an exam location, make sure it's someplace you know, someplace you're comfortable with. I mean, if you can take it at the school that you attended, do that, because you know the campus. Um, and if you're comfortable there, why not? You know? So that would be my advice to you. Or someplace really, really close to home, and someplace that you know they're not lax with their discipline as far as making sure other people aren't disturbing your concentration. Number nine. Number nine is really simple, kind of plays off number 10. After you pick your location, make sure that you have everything that you need with you. Make sure your materials are sort of in place from a week ago, a week before the exam. Make sure you have, if there's a special kind of pencil you like to use, maybe $50 baller pencils, make sure you buy that in advance. Make sure you have whatever snacks, you have an idea of what snacks you're going to bring with you. Um, you already have an idea of everything that you're going to take with you to the outside. Make sure you have that photo ID, and that photo that you have to attach, recent photo that you have to attach to your law school admissions ticket, and make sure all of that stuff is taken care of far in advance. You don't want to be waiting until the last minute, because that's going to give you unneeded stress going into an already stressful exam. Number 8. Number 8 is sort of similar. I'm not going to get into the LSAT taking exam part of this thing yet. Number 8 has to do with number 8 is basically making sure that you have a general idea where you're going to land in the LSAT. And number 8 is similar to number 7. I really want to just combine them together, but just for countdown's sake, make sure you have a general idea of where you're going to land in the LSAT, and just prepare yourself for it. There are multiple opportunities for you to take practice exams, so go ahead, look up some practice exams, take as many of them as you can. And that moves on to number 7. Number 7, study for the LSAT. I mean, this goes without saying, but there are a lot of people who take a cold, and unless your brain is sort of triggered to thinking the way that the exam makers think, then you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by not reviewing at least a practice exam. I think you should review more than just a few. I think you should review as many as you can. With your time, with the time that you have. I feel like the more effort you place into this exam, the better off you're going to be. This is from my personal experience. The more practice exams you take, the better off you're going to be on the real exam, because those practice exams really correlate well with the actual exam, because they're real exams from past law school admissions council given tests. So practice as many as you can, and when you're comfortable with the LSAT and you kind of have an idea, like number 8 says, you have an idea of where you're going to score, go ahead and take the exam. So moving on, number 6. Number 6, not logic reasoning, logic games. Don't drop points on logic games. When you first start studying the exam, logic games seems like the hardest thing in the world, especially for people who are terrible at math. looks like a math problem waiting to happen. You're like, oh no, this is the GRE, this is what I signed up for. It's not. Um, Logic games, nothing to, well, very little to do for people who want to argue. Not much to do with math. Um, Logic games is just testing your ability to follow directions. You're given specific rules, and you you have to stay within the guidelines of those rules. But at the same time, certain rules create unspoken inferences that you have to be able to pick out. You know, what is the assumption that's missing? What's the, well, not so much the assumption, but assumption influences the same thing. But logic games is testing that. You know, how are you going to pick those out? You know, are you going to be able to follow the directions that you're given, work under the constraints that you're placed under, because that's what it's testing. So I don't know how applicable it is in everyday life, but if you're able to order things and follow directions, logic games will do well for you. So don't drop points on it. Number five. Number five has to do with reading comprehension. Reading comprehension for a lot of people is the hardest section of the exam, and it's understandable. Um, you have some people who are sort of intimidated by reading comprehension, but you have to realize that reading comprehension is forcing you to skim passages. I mean, you're not going to casually read the passages that you get on the LSAT, because um, many of them are not passages that are reflective of things you care about. I mean, yeah, you do have some things that you need to be like, oh, this is interesting. This is an interesting topic. And when you bump into an interesting topic, because no one person is, the same, when you bump into something that interests you, you're going to do really well in that section, because you're going to be motivated, and you're going to be, sort of fascinated with, where's the story going. Normally you're that way when you're casually reading. You read the things you like. You don't read stuff that, you absolutely have no interest in. Well, when you're taking the LSAT, you have to read many things, many topics that you don't really care about, and the vocabulary for many of these passages could be really dry and complex. So what you want to do, not much more than the GRE, but what you want to do is you want to sort of practice. That's why it's a good idea to practice with those old LSAT tests, and get a general idea of how many times you're going to hear about different group of people, civilizations, early civilizations, calories, just rock formations, oil well drilling. This is the sort of stuff that you can read. So prepare yourself for it. Learn how to skim through the passages. Some people make notes. Make notes where you think you have an indicator of the author's attitude. Make notes where you think that you've summarized the main idea of the story, and then just go from there. Making notes is really useful, really helpful for me. I would suggest you do that as well. And moving on to number four. Number four is logical reasoning. And for a lot of people, or many people, it's not used a lot. Many people, logical reasoning is really tricky, in the sense that this is the one section I think that they're really outright trying to trick you. I mean, in all the other sections, the test makers are trying to trick you, but in logical reasoning, they're definitely trying to trick you over and over and over and over again. You don't see it as much in reading comprehension and in logic games, in my opinion. But logical reasoning, it's really testing your mastery and understanding of fallacies. And if you're not a philosophy major, I suggest you look up what a fallacy is and the different types of fallacies. How do people form arguments? What's a conclusion? What are premises? There's a saying that they take into consideration. Every argument has a conclusion and two premises. Now, one of these premises could be unspoken, the other could be spoken, both can be spoken premises. But the idea is every argument has a conclusion and two premises. So understanding that, you have to sometimes find the missing premise. You have to sometimes use the premises to validate a conclusion. This is what logical reasoning is: testing how the argument is created, how the argument is constructed, and is there a flaw in the argument? So these are the things that you have to prepare yourself for, and it's a difficult section. So I suggest you practice as many practice tests as you possibly can. Number three. Number three is what I suggest to you guys is, because this is such an expensive expedition that you're about to undertake. I mean, a lot of people are going to end up paying, 100,000 plus, interest to attend whatever law school they're planning to attend. If you're not getting a scholarship someplace, I suggest that you choose carefully where you're planning to attend. They're great schools. There's great websites, websites like Law School Transparency, which will really help you out, give you a general idea. Okay, is this a school that's going to be good for the goals that I want to achieve? You'd be surprised at the schools that charge, $30,000-$40,000 a year just for tuition. Forget cost of attendance. That's something you should factor in too. I mean, you're going to attend a school that's going to cost you $40,000 a year. How much is it going to cost you to live in the city for the 9 months you're there, or if you're going to stay 12? Are you able to get residency within a year? That'll save you maybe $10,000. If you can get residency within a year, you'll get that in-state tuition. If it's a school that offers that, if it's a school that has a different value for in-state, and obviously the state schools normally do, but many private schools don't. So that's something you really need to look into. Take this opportunity to make sure that you research in detail what you're getting yourself into financially, and proceed from there. Check out Law School Transparency. See the legit numbers of the employment rates, because schools have been known to not lie about their employment rates, but just omit valuable detail that Law School Transparency doesn't really omit. Number two for you guys is know what the medians are for the school that you're planning to attend or you're trying to get into. The medians are important because the Holy U.S. World News report rankings are really, really important to law school, because they give off a sort of prestige for lay people who are not familiar with law schools. When they want to know which is the best law school to attend, they look for a ranking. When they're looking for a ranking, they run into the U.S. News and World Report. So they use that ranking to kind of figure out, hey, okay, this is the best law school to attend. And law schools know this, and the more prestige they have, the more prestigiously they're ranked in the U.S. News and World Report rankings, the more people will want to attend. The more people that will want to attend, the more ka-ching they will make. So for them, it's a money thing. It's important to them to be higher ranked, because that signifies that their school is better. So they take that seriously. With that said, you can get into schools below median, but there are different factors that come into play. What are some of the extraordinary things you've done in your life? What's your work experience like? Are you an underrepresented minority, which is something else I don't even get into, or does your transcript show some sort of gift that would really, really help you in law school? Different factors could get you in when you're below the median. They have what's called a splitter, someone who has a high LSAT score and a low GPA, lower than the median of the school they're trying to attend, but a higher LSAT than the median of the school they're trying to attend. And the reverse splitter, who's just the opposite, someone with a high GPA, higher than the median of the school they're trying to attend, but an LSAT lower than the median of the school they're trying to attend. Now, as splitters, it's really hard to predict where you'll land. There are different websites that can help you with that. Law School Numbers is a really good website. Check it out. You can find out where people with your numbers, your exact numbers over the years I've gotten into. And this is a useful tool that not many people know about. Same as law school transparency. Law school numbers, really useful. Do your research from there. It'll help you out a lot. Understand the medians of each school, respect the medians. Try to get one category within the medians. You know, above would be much better, of course. You know, that gives you a chance of getting into the school that you want to get into. Number one, because we're running out of time. Number one would be, without a doubt, whenever you have doubt, the answer is retake the LSAT. No questions about it. If you have a doubt about where you're about to attend school and where you're about to invest X amount of dollars in, retake the LSAT. If you have a doubt about your performance on the LSAT and you felt that you could have done better, retake the LSAT. If you have a doubt about attending any law school without getting a certain LSAT score, retake the LSAT. LSAT, without a doubt, is 100% retakeable, because most schools, the majority of schools, are going to look at, they're going to take, for U.S. World News rankings, they're going to take the best score. So if you have two scores, one's really low, one's really high, they're going to take the high one. I mean, they might want you to explain why there's such a gap, but at the end of the day, they're going to take the high one. So retake the LSAT. Always retake the LSAT. The LSAT retake is the credited response in every situation. So if you listen to none of the other advice in this little video, I suggest retaking the LSAT in all times. Retake until you get the score you want. You know, it's not going to hurt you. And yeah, it's going to cost you money, but consider how much money it's going to cost you to attend a school that doesn't have very good job prospects when you graduate with 100,000 plus in debt and no job. So retake the LSAT. Retake it as much as you need.